She's shocked that I picked her.
No.
She's like in a state of shock.
I think we have enough of an interview here, Hope. Okay, that's enough.
Immigrants on the whole create...
Come on, try getting it out. Try getting it out.
I'll get it out.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to put this on television, but you don't even know what you're talking about. Try getting it out. Go ahead.
Today, we are going to go through 6 examples of Donald Trump destroying dumb reporters, starting with Donald Trump's 60 Minutes interview, where Trump been provoked throughout the whole interview. The tension rises as Trump explains that social media is essential for him to bypass what he calls the fake media. He argues that social media platforms is his only way to have a voice.
Do you think that your tweets and your name calling are turning people off?
No, I think I wouldn't be here if I didn't have social media.
Well,
but the media is fake. And frankly, if I didn't have social media, I'd have no way of getting out my voice.
The tension continues to rise as the reporter claims that Trump has said to her that he urges to say the media is fake only to discredit the negative comments about him.
Do you know what you told me a long time ago when I asked why you keep saying fake media?
Yeah.
You said to me, I say that because I need to discredit you so that when you say negative things about me, no one will believe you.
I don't have to discredit you.
But that's what you told me.
You've discredited yourself.
Later, the reporter claims that she didn't want to have a provocative interview and that it never was her intentions. But Trump doesn't buy that one bit.
I didn't want to have this kind of angry.
Of course you did.
No, I didn't.
Of course you did.
No, I didn't.
Well, then you brought up a lot of subjects that
Well, I said
were
I'm going to ask you
inappropriately brought
tough
up.
questions.
They were inappropriately
But-
brought up right from the beginning. I saw your interview with Joe, the interview with Joe Biden.
I never did a Joe
It was
Biden
a joke.
interview.
The interview, 60 Minutes. I see Joe Biden giving softball after softball.
Okay, but forget him for a minute.
No, but you started with me. Your first statement was, are you ready for tough questions?
Are you?
That's no way to talk.
After a heated back and forth, the interview takes a dramatic turn as Trump decides he's had enough. Standing up and walking off, he leaves the reporter behind, marking an abrupt end to the conversation.
I think we have enough of an interview here, Hope. Okay, that's enough. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go meet for 2 seconds, okay? Thanks. I'll see you in a little while. Thanks.
Be careful.
This moment showcases his relationship with the media and his willingness to reject interviews that he feels misrepresent him, which leads us to the next Donald Trump moment. This heated exchange begins with Trump getting asked a very harsh and disrespectful question by a reporter at a Q&A at a Black Journalist Convention interview.
I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
He immediately challenges the reporter, saying he has never been asked a question in such a horrible manner, and goes off on her being 40 minutes late to the interview.
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money, they were stone cold broke, and I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that, and let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense, and then you said you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something.
He then proceeds to say he has been the best president for the black population in America since Abraham Lincoln.
I think it's a very nasty question. I have answered the question. I have been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's your period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work in such a hostile manner. I think it's a disgrace.
As the interview continues, the reporter asks Trump about Republicans labeling Kamala Harris as a DEI agent and what he thinks about those claims. His answer is priceless.
Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a
literally
definition
the words
then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question, a very direct question.
Define it for me, if you would.
I just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So, I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much, and she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She is
It's an Indian recipe.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you are Indian.
Yes. You look like the entire one half of my family.
Okay.
After an intense few minutes, let's move on to the next moment. During this heated interview, Donald Trump and the reporter starts talking about illegal immigrants. The reporter claims that Trump's takes and stats on illegal immigration are not accurate. The interview takes a turn as the reporter stumbles her words when Trump pushes back on her claims.
Big topic. Take a look at all the crime that's being committed. Go take a look at it.
The research says the crime does not match what you're saying. The research, the Pew research, which is independent, says.
Don't be naive. You're a very naive person.
The Pew research says that there are for immigrants on the whole
Come on, try getting it out. Try getting it out.
I'll get it out.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to put this on television, but you don't even know what you're talking about. Try getting it out. Go ahead.
Immigrants commit less crime than U.S.-born citizens.
Okay.
There are less immigrants in our jails than.
You know what? Number one, I disagree with it. Number two, whether it's true or not, illegal immigrants. I'm talking about illegal immigrants. I'm not talking about immigrants. I'm talking about illegal.
After the interview ends, the reporter states that she likes when Trump pushes back on her claims.
Thank you. Great honor. Okay.
It's fun when you.
Well, it's fine. It's too bad that she mentions only the negatives. You don't want to mention all the positives.
You know, I was going to.
Trump makes sure to stand his ground during these interviews, which leads us to a recent Bloomberg interview, where the reporter talks to Trump about the so-called Trump trade. The reporter thinks that Trump's economical plan will lead to inflation, higher debt, and higher interest rates, which Trump obviously don't agree with.
You said, President Trump, at the moment there is a thing called the Trump trade in the markets. Do you know what that is? The Trump trade is very simple. People are betting that your policies are going to drive up debt, they're going to drive up inflation, so they're going to drive up interest rates. Are the investors wrong?
Yeah, I had 4 years no inflation. But
that was when you had much.
I had 4 years. It's better than that. And Biden, who has no idea where the hell he is, okay? Biden went 2 years with no inflation because he inherited from me.
The interview gets heated and Trump discredits the Wall Street for making these claims, saying that they have been wrong about everything all along.
I was actually quite kind to you. I used 7 trillion. The upper estimate is 15 trillion. People like the Wall Street Journal, who's hardly a communist organization,
yeah, but you don't know.
They have criticized you on this as well. You are running up enormous debts.
What does the Wall Street Journal know? I'm meeting with them tomorrow. What does the Wall Street Journal know? They've been wrong about everything. So have you, by the way.
You've been wrong about
You're trying to turn this. You're trying to turn this.
You've been wrong about
No, you're trying to turn this into debate. There are
It's
business
not a debate.
people. There are
but
business
you're wrong.
people.
You've been wrong all your life on this stuff. You've been.
Not
Let me
on the
tell you
issue.
about currency. You're going jumping a lot of.
Yeah.
Next up, we have a Trump moment, where a reporter falsely claims that Kamala Harris gathers big crowds during her rallies, which Trump dismisses.
Are you worried at all about the size of Harris's crowds?
Oh, give me a break. Listen, I had 107,000 people in New Jersey. You didn't report it. I'm so glad you asked. What did she have yesterday? 2,000 people? If I ever had 2,000 people, you'd say my campaign is finished. It's so dishonest, the press. And here's a great example. I had in Michigan recently 25,000 people, and 25,000 people we just couldn't get them in. We had in Harrisburg 25,000 people, and 20,000 people couldn't get in. We had so many. Nobody ever mentions that. When she gets 1,500 people, and I saw it yesterday on ABC, which they said, oh, the crowd was so big. I have 10 times, 20 times, 30 times the crowd size. And no, they never say the crowd was big. That's why I'm always saying turn around the cameras. I'm so glad you asked it. I think it's so terrible when you say, well, she has 1,500 people, 1,000 people, and they talk about, oh, the enthusiasm. Let me tell you, we have the enthusiasm.
In a surprising turn, Trump points to a reporter, leaving her visibly shocked that she was chosen to speak. This moment adds a layer of unpredictability to the conference, showcasing Trump's often spontaneous style.
Go ahead. Sure. She's shocked that I picked her.
No.
She's like in a state of shock.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay. I know you're not thinking. You never do.
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Donald Trump's interactions with reporters never fail to capture attention. These confrontations reveal not just the tensions between politics and the media, but also the challenges and dynamics at play in modern-day press conferences.